Hi, I'm Flynn Howard from Melbourne, Victoria, and this is what I'm doing right now.
Hello. I haven't seen you in a few days because I've been sick, so I just didn't film anything. Instead, I stayed in bed. I did play a little bit of Diablo, though, while I was in bed, which I haven't played in probably at least a year. I think I played a little bit when Reaper of Souls came out, the expansion pack, but only for like a few hours, and I haven't since then.
How does it make you feel?
It's alright. I'm up to like level 65 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Diablo.
Want to hear a funny story? One time I had the exposure locked on my phone, so when we walked outside, it was just a white shot while we were talking to the camera.
Is that what just happened?
That is what just happened. I'm out of practice at this vlogging thing. Today we're gonna film the first episode of Kate Tectonics.
Way to go. Way to go.
Eh?
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 You hear me? Do you hear me in the potty?
No.
And you're peeking when you like really emphasize words. So.
We should just fix that on the transmitter rather than having her try to not be as loud. This is like universal problem when it comes to setting audio levels. Whenever you ask someone, this is not anyone's fault, whenever you ask someone, speak as loud as you are going to, they always speak quieter than they actually end up speaking at their loudest. What I did on here was decrease the volume by 6 decibels from where it was before. So if she was peaking before, she should be, if she was peaking at 0, now she should be peaking at around -6 if she delivers that same performance. As long as we're like up above 30-ish with where she's normally hovering, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to bring that up. It will be interesting to see how much of a noise floor there is on this camera. I don't, because it's the first time we're using it, I don't know how clean the preamp is. So we might find out that we have more room than that, or less room when it comes to boosting audio levels in post. We'll find out. The whole pace of this beginning thing is going to be relatively slow. So you don't need to feel like you need to rush to the next line or anything. And we'll probably, even in post, like space them out even more. Take a bit of time because there's going to be these, you know, sort of long shots underneath those things.
And the tool we're going to use to explore geology is a pencil.
Mr. Todd.
Yeah, man.
I have some bad news for you.
Yeah, right.
Bernie Sanders.
No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
He
it.
lost.
No, don't.
He did not win the New York primary that was happening today.
What were the numbers?
Last time I checked, Sanders was like 16 points behind Clinton with 75% of the vote counted.
This really upsets me right now. Okay, I'm better. Let me ask you this, though, because you probably know this more than I do. Since he lost, is there any way for him to catch up? Is California still? I mean, that's June 7th.
I mean, technically, yes, there is a way for Bernie Sanders to achieve the nomination still. But losing to Clinton by more than 10 percentage points has made it even more of a remote chance than it was before.
I don't know if you need me. I'll be over here.
We're probably talking about needing to win California by like 50% or something stupid.
Okay, so all my fellow Californians, vote. Vote, please. Make it a thing you do. I'm voting absentee ballot, but I'm doing it. High five. Oh, that was bad. There you go. Yeah, so please, for the love of God, for the love of Bernie, just vote, all right? Vote. All right, that's all.
I think we're done.
I'm so tired.
You know what? I gotta say,
It's exhausting.
Katelyn did a great job She put all her effort into it, and even though sometimes she got frustrated, she kept pushing on through, and I'm very proud of you, Katelyn, very proud of you.
Thanks, Todd.
So now that we've filmed an episode of Kate Tectonics, how did the reality of filming differ from your expectation before we shot anything?
I think filming at first, it was what I expected it to be. I stumbled a little bit, but I had the energy that I kept going, and everything was fine. But then, by the end, we had redone so many things that, my body was just so drained. We got through it. I felt really bad for keeping everybody there for 4 hours. I hope that future episodes are nothing like this one. I hope they go much smoother. I was telling Todd afterwards when he was like, "How are you? You did awesome," that it felt like I had just taken an exam, and for the exam, I studied for it and I felt really good. I thought I was going to do well, and then I just end up bombing the exam. It wasn't that horrible, but that's what it felt like. We can learn, we can improve, and it'll just be smoother from here on out.
As with most things, getting better at it just comes down to repetition. Any photographer, painter, author, any creative person who has started to do a thing has been not great at that thing. But generally, as a creative person, you have an idea in your head about what good is, and you can tell that the thing that you're making doesn't meet that same standard. If I made a short film right now, I know what a good film looks like. I know what the product of the effort of my favorite directors looks like. So I would be able to compare what I did to what I know Ridley Scott would do, or what I know Darren Aronofsky would do, or what J.J. Abrams would do, and I would say this is not as good as that. But the only way to get as good as them is to continue practicing, to continue iterating, and it's not like a switch turns on and then all of a sudden you are good, but at some point you just look behind you and you're like, oh wow, I've come all that way, I've climbed this mountain, and it was just one step at a time.
Since you've been doing this for a while, so you already kind of know what looks good and what doesn't look good. But as I was doing the first few shots, I was like, yeah, that's okay. I feel like this is okay. But because I've never done it before, so to me it probably seemed okay, but I think to you it was kind of because you've seen many other people read off scripts and you've read off many scripts yourself, that you know what looks good better than I do. So you were trying to give me pointers and telling me try to change this and try to change that. So it's kind of eventually I started second guessing myself, and then that just got to my head, and that doesn't do any good. So
there's sort of an interesting relationship that develops between any director and actor, because part of what the director is, or at least should be thinking about, is how do I have to communicate to the actor in a way that the actor can take that information and use it in a meaningful way. But at the beginning of any director-actor relationship, you don't know what that's going to be like. So it's sort of trial and error on both parts of the director attempting to explain something without really knowing how is the actor going to interpret this, and the actor is sitting there trying to be what does the director mean by this, and how can I get there?
I generally understood everything that you were telling me that you wanted me to do. It was the getting there part for me that was difficult. I didn't really know how to execute certain things. So I hope it's more just you're helping me with baby steps, and then, or learning how to ride a bicycle. You need your mom or dad there to help you get going, and so you don't fall down. And then eventually it's just oh yeah, this is super easy. I don't need help, and I'm never going to forget how to do it.
Yeah, that's sort of my hope as this studio moves forward. I can't afford to spend 4, 5, 6 hours on every shoot of every show that we ever want to be doing at the same time. So my hope is that by working with you and working with Braylon to kind of get the feel for how things should work, that eventually I can sort of like let go of the back of the bicycle seat, and you guys can continue on with that same momentum, and then I can focus on spinning up some other project.
I hope that happens sooner rather than later. Overall, I think you are a very good director.
Oh, thanks. While we were going through this shoot, I was thinking that the way in which we shoot stuff at EcoGeek doesn't really lend itself to that kind of directing. So I felt like tonight, to a certain extent, I was kind of stretching a muscle that I wish was bigger and stronger than it is. It's a muscle that I haven't used in a very long time because I haven't really directed anything in a really long time. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was like, I forgot how fun this is, how good this feels.
Well, I hope I never discouraged you in like giving feedback because I started getting frustrated at the end. Because it wasn't you, it was like not knowing how to execute what you were telling me that got me frustrated.
But that's just something that, like, as a director, you have to be conscious of when your actors start getting frustrated and, like, how far and how hard to push them into their frustration before being like, okay, let's take a break and then come revisit this later. There's so much stuff when it comes to making movies and TV shows and stuff like Kate Tectonics. I don't know where that fits on the movie to TV show spectrum. We're certainly taking a more artsy approach to it than anything else that I've worked on in a long time.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.